Okay, this is Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. I don't want to jinx it again like I did last week, but I'm feeling lucky. What console are we playing this week? Alright, the original Xbox. So far so good, I'm good with this.
Merry Christmas, Xbox.
We've got 868 games on this wheel. Alright, NFL 2K3. I know what you might be thinking. You might be saying, oh, this is going to be a boring episode, I'm going to skip it. You know, football games are a dime a dozen. But hang tight. Stick with me. There's a lot of interesting facts and just video gaming history related to this game, so let's get into it. First, let me just say on a personal note, if you're not a football fan, I can relate. I didn't grow up with football. I never knew the rules of football until I was, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12 or so, and I learned from video games. My brother would play Joe Montana Sports Talk Football 94 with me and taught me the rules. And coincidentally, actually, in about 2002, I wanted a football game. I hadn't played one since those old Genesis ones, and this is right around the time Xbox Live came out. And I'm like, I want a football game that I can play online with people. That would be amazing. At the time, Madden was the big thing. It still is. It always was the big thing in football video games. The aforementioned Joe Montana game had its little spot in the sun. Madden squashed it, but Sega really came back. They started making these NFL 2K games. They were on the Dreamcast, and I remember my friend had NFL 2K on the Dreamcast, and he played it online over a dial-up modem. Xbox Live was a completely different thing. A standardized system, friends list, voice chat. It was the beginnings of everything that online gaming is and what Nintendo still can't figure out for some reason 20-something years later. But anyway, at the time, Madden, EA didn't want to run their games on Xbox servers. They wanted to run their own servers, and they were in this big battle with Microsoft over this. Meanwhile, Sega was like, here you go, and they came out with this game. It used Xbox Live. So, cool coincidence, out of all of the 1,000 probably football games that exist, this is the one that I bought when it came out. Also, this was the year that Sega managed to sign a deal with ESPN. So not only was it this awesome football game on this more powerful system than any other console, not only did it have online multiplayer, but it also had like a very smooth TV feeling presentation. It was super cool, and here is my save. I mean, my save is still here. All of I have a replay here, I guess, for some reason. And if we continue my save, my season save, apparently I played the hell out of this game. I went through a whole season. So I won the Super Bowl, and the only thing left here where I left off was the Pro Bowl, which is like basically the All-Star game. So I never played that, so I might as well like let's do that now. I'm going to continue my 23-year-old game. These two coaches look exactly the same, except they have different eyes, and they're both named Dick. And yeah, the rest is pretty much what you'd expect from a football game of this era. The really interesting part, the history part of this that I wanted to talk about, Sega beats Madden to the Xbox Live punch. Madden starts doing online through PS2's shoddy network. Too little too late, that's not very good. And the ESPN name really helps out with the brand's clout. They lean into that with the title for 2K4. And then by the time 2K5 comes out, it's starting to get a little bit of a reputation that it might be better than Madden. So Sega goes really hard trying to dethrone Madden, and they actually priced the game at $19.99. Madden was $49.99 that year, and EA just panicked. First, they reduced the price to $29.95, but the damage was done. It was too late. Eventually, EA pulls a dirty money trick out of desperation, and they signed the NFL to an exclusivity deal. So going forward after 2K5, Sega wouldn't be able to use the NFL team names or the player names. And this made me really angry at the time. Like, this is pretty evil. We can't compete with you. You made a better game than us. It's cheaper than ours. So we're just going to buy you out of the market. It was pretty dirty. This is actually the same thing that Sony did. If you remember back in the day when Sony was pushing Blu-ray, and some other companies had gone in, I think Toshiba was one of them. There's a bunch of companies that were backing HD DVD. A lot of people think that was a Microsoft thing. It wasn't, but Microsoft had an HD DVD player. But HD DVD was starting to gain steam, and it looked like they might start toppling Blu-ray. Sony went out and they signed a bunch of exclusivity deals with a bunch of film studios. I think Universal was one of them, Paramount. They signed a bunch of deals where these movies could only come out on Blu-ray. So that essentially buried HD DVD. Sony spent that money out of desperation to kill its competitor. And that's what happened here with EA. EA was wasn't reinventing itself. It wasn't trailblazing. It came out with the same product every year. Barely incremental improvements. The 2K games really challenged them, and it forced their hand. And after this money gambit, they kind of went back to making the same game every year. No more competition. So that's the little piece of interesting gaming history when it comes to this. But how did I feel about the game? I mean, I loved it at the time, clearly. It was fun. It was engaging. Whenever I played online, I realized how bad I was at these games. I never quite understood defense in these games. I pretty much only passed. If you look at my stats for my season that I played, I barely ran the ball at all. Look at that. It was all passes because passing was more fun to me. I didn't care. So when I played online, I would get crushed. When someone was beating me, I would pause the game and I would zoom in on one of the players' butts or something, and I would just zoom in and out, and I would just do that over and over again. When the time ran out, I paused it again, and I just kept doing it until they quit, or they just sat there and waited until I got bored. Was it childish? Absolutely, but I was having fun. When the games came out in subsequent years, they combated things like that for jerks like me, and I'm still pretty bad. I lost the first game. I'm gonna try it again because, again, this is my really old save. I want to finish this. We're playing this game over again, and this time I'm doing a little bit better. I still don't run the ball, but my passing game is a little tighter. I managed to squeak out a win and complete my incredibly old game save. I feel accomplished, so maybe let's give a rating to NFL 2K3 on the Xbox.
Happy New Year, Xbox.
Yeah, for me not really being a football fan per se, this game really grabbed me at the time. It was just clean and fun and simple, and it was full of new features and experiences. I loved it, and when I was done with it, I loved it so much so that I said, every 10 years, I'm going to buy a new football game. And I really wanted to stick to that, and then the whole EA 2K thing happened, and all there was Madden. I never bought another football game again, so again, this is a crazy coincidence that this football game came up on the wheel out of all the ones that exist. Are these games a lot better now? Yes, absolutely. But how much better would they be now if Sega was still a competition? I think that would have been fun. It was a shame. It turned me off to the whole thing. I went back to my non-sports game playing ways, but I'd still give this one a high 4 out of 5. Really, really good stuff. So what do you think? Football video games are a niche that not every gamer's into, but if you are into it, what's your favorite football video game of all time? And if not football, do you have a sports game that you love? NHL 93 was a big one too. But let me know in the comments, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing what we're going to play next time. I certainly am, and we'll see you then.
Happy Easter, Xbox.